DeRoy, so let's start, because politically it's obviously a different time when you've got the presidential race in full effect on both sides, and that is going to drive every response. So how does the president appropriately respond? I'll ask you essentially the same question I asked Brian Stevens.
What I would visibly escort these ships as they're going back and forth carrying oil. It is a visual
and
deterrent.
Not necessarily as aggressive
Correct.
as people like John Bolton and Lindsey Graham and Tom Cotton
if
would
we start
clearly.
blowing up things in Iran, it's very hard to take a step back.
Chuck Schumer isn't the only one who's talked about, renewing the AUMF and at least having congressional oversight for some of these incursions, because you can't keep using that 17-year-old document every time you want to go somewhere. So how do you do that?
I think Congress. So I think that the president needs to ask Congress, and Congress needs to stand up for itself. That's the biggest problem in this country, Kennedy. We've talked about president since Roosevelt.
But one of the good things, and resistance, because I want to know, what is the Biden doctrine?
Sure.
What is the Harris doctrine? How does our foreign policy
What is the O'Rourke doctrine? There's a question.
Words fluffy.
Look, you're
that's
right.
my dentist.
This would be a very good opportunity for the Democrats to step into the usual response.
You know what? Use a little creativity here. Go ahead and use poetic license. We're going to see the panel in just a little bit. Plus, we're going to have more on Iran and whether we can count on our dumb allies to help us. But first, such a good song. I want more. Michael Moore. President Trump has a special message for swing voters, but we can't share it on a family program such as this. Even if he intends to somehow reach out to swing voters, he's not going to clumsily pander to them, and that's how he keeps his base of very loyal supporters so loyal.
Yeah, and I find it interesting Michael Moore would criticize anyone of having temperament issues or insanity personally. But the thing that he has going for him that Hillary Clinton had the accent, but they went to that rally enthusiastic about what he's doing for small business.
You're making a rational case for the president to
Well, there's a difference between they're done with it and they're not as surprised by it, because before CNN could be like, oh my gosh, did you see what he tweeted? And everyone would freak out, but now it's like,
Kennedy, it's 1% in 3 states.
Okay, well, we don't know that. And so this is one of the clips I want to keep, and I want to play it back the day after the election to see where we all stand.
Fantastic.
Because I think some people are going to be like, I told you so, and other people will be suicidal. But I think there is something to the president staying in his lane. And you say he's undisciplined?
Yeah.
I think that message is actually well thought out.
Do you remember after Kellyanne Conway joined?
Can't for whatever reason, and I see why that resonated. Well, they say overnight is a lifetime in politics, and nobody knows that better than Joe Biden, who went to bed on Tuesday as the first vice president to serve under a black president and woke up Wednesday as a racist in the eyes of his 2020 opponents. Well done, Joe. Joe Biden's most vulnerable area. I really do. And when he opens himself up, and frankly, I think it's stupid to point out the work that you've done with segregationists, considering the conversation we're having about race in this country right now.
There are realignment.
Okay, but no, actually not from Reconstruction into the 60s.
Realignment.
Okay, but no, actually not from Reconstruction into the 60s.
And your party has to now own that they've taken that history and said, we'll take it. The Southern have to own that that's what they've inherited since Nixon.
Republicans
I agree.
Absolutely right.
No, if you're going to have a conversation, okay, take a deep breath, because I'm going to say something. If you're going to have a conversation about reparations, then you have to acknowledge.
Agreed with him or not, did that message-wise. And I agree with you that Cory Booker, now his name's back in the headlines. He's been polling at 2%. He's been at the bottom of the pack.
He's been waiting for this.
And this is identity.
He's been waiting for any foray into the race. And I think, he's right to exploit this, because you have to exploit your opponent's weaknesses. And Joe Biden has a glaring weakness when it comes to race and criminal justice reform. And I don't think he should be given a pass by anyone. He has so much explaining to do, and if it takes other senators in the race to point that out, well, good for them, because they got to do something. Elizabeth Warren is doing much better than they are. She is the hottest Democrat in the country, and for once, It's not just smoke signals coming out of her backyard teepee. The Massachusetts love hookers, and the 1% of them who don't require a tip. Top of the
She
field.
takes some of the ideas he has, makes them
For a second, but I'll tell you what, he's going to continue to make gaffes, and he's going to say dumb things, flavor the moment for a moment.
Right.
But now Warren, I mean, people are looking at going, well, I don't like everything, but you have to respect the fact that the woman works in data.
Specifics will get you a long way.
Yes, they will.
People
Well
at least give you
said.
credit for that.
An early endorsement. It's
I never endorse a candidate ever.
Sure,
I like
but
Elizabeth Warren,
she's
and
not
I like
emerged.
Joe Biden. I think Joe Biden.
What about Buttigieg?
But the problem with him is he's 37 years old.
Yeah, that's right.
And I don't
Sexy
know
as
that.
ever.
I don't
Not
know.
even in his
But
30s.
here, I do think Joe Biden is a
Voters
bit
want to ride him like a bicycle. We have to go.
lethargic. I think Joe Biden's a bit lethargic. I would
I
take
do too.
30 seconds.
I think, and Joe, it's exhausting campaigning.
Yeah.
I'm
Believe me.
done
You can
with
tell
the
it's
boomers.
when I ran for assemblies director in high school, I needed a nap
Did you
every
win?
day.
You know, a lot of
I'm
energy.
I didn't.
done
I would've
with the
voted for
baby
you.
boomers. I would
Okay, we
rather
have to
see
go. They're yelling
somebody
at me
else.
now.
Gen X.
Joy, Chris, and Britt, thank you
to see
so
you.
much. Coming up, if we do go to war with Iran, it's time to give viewers a penny for their thoughts, which, if we're being honest, that's way more than they're worth. This is Viewer Mail. Dennis starts us off with, Kennedy Nation, since when are you such a moron? Since the 90s, the 1890s, Dennis. Doesn't my skin look great, you hack? Gene writes, guess what, Kennedy? Most of us don't care what you think. Guess what, Gene? Your name rhymes with mean. Vin tweets, Kennedy Nation, OMG, where did you get that dress? It's hideous. I'll pretend it's opposite day. And John sends us home with, you are so freaking alpha, it's scary. Good scary. I'm the omega 2, and that's because of all the fish oils I drink during the commercial break. We have one now. We'll be right back. You can't believe what happens during these commercial breaks. It is untoward, but we have each other. Thank you so much for watching the best hour of your day, at least the part on the screen. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Kennedy Nation, on Facebook, Kennedy FBN. Email KennedyFBN@foxbusiness.com. Hit up Jimmy Fallon on Twitter. He'll tell you what we're talking about. It ain't pretty, but that's okay. We're still in love. I will see you on the 5 tomorrow night, 5 p.m. in the West. East. Yeah, whatever.